a lot of objectives to this lesson. We're going to use elimination to solve systems with these situations. First is when two variables have opposite coefficients. This is the easiest, so they're going to get harder as we go. Second is when two variables have the same coefficient. Sometimes we have to multiply one equation. Sometimes we have to multiply both. So as you go down, this gets harder. We are going to cover objectives 1 and 2 in today's lesson. And then we'll probably split 3 and 4 into 2 separate ones. The concept is not that hard, but the practice of it is kind of tricky sometimes, so we'll give you time on each of those. Okay, so if you have two equations which have the same variable with opposite coefficients, you can add them together to eliminate a variable. So this is called the elimination method because we are eliminating or getting rid of a variable altogether. If you look at this equation, the y in each equation, here we have a plus 5 in front of it, here we have a minus 5 in front of it. So they have opposite coefficients. If they have opposite coefficients, what's going to happen to the y when we add these two equations together? Aiden? 5 by y is going to go away. So we're just going to add 2x plus 6x is 8x. The y's go away. 17 minus 9 is 8. Dividing both sides by 8, we get x equals 1. Elimination in some cases is really simple. This particular system of equations would have been tricky to do if we had done substitution because you had to solve. There are no naked variables, so you would have had to have picked one to solve for. You probably would have ended up with some fractions in the interim, although the answer is not a fraction. This way, it just kind of knocks it out quickly. Okay, now we have to find out what y is. How am I going to do that? Good. Put the x into, it doesn't matter which equation. I'm going to pick the first one. So 2 times x, 2 times 1, plus 5y equals 17. 2 plus 5y is 17. Subtracting 2 from both sides gives us 5y equals 15. Dividing both sides by 5 gives us y equals 3. And I'm going to check, always check to make sure you have the right answer. So I'm going to check by putting it into the second equation because I already used the first equation. That's how I figured it out. So we know it works for the first equation. Second equation is 6x, or 6 times 1, if that's a minus sign, minus 5y, which is 5 times 3, equals negative 9. So I have 6 minus 15 equals negative 9. Is 6 minus 15 negative 9? Yep, negative 9 equals negative 9. So I can be sure that I got this right. Unless occasionally you do make a mistake in the calculations the second time. Every once in a while, a miracle happens, and even though your answer is wrong, it comes up as if it's right. But most of the time, 99% of the time, you're going to know before you're finished whether it's correct or not. Are we all good? Let's go on. Okay, in this system, Austin, do we have any variables up there with opposite coefficients? Okay, which one?
Negative 6y and positive 6y.
Good, these have opposite coefficients, the negative 6y and the positive 6y, so I can add these equations together. Will, tell me what I get when I add them together. Good, now what do I do? And I get? Good. Courtney, how do I find y? Good. Which equation do you want to use? Bottom? Okay, so we're gonna use the bottom equation. I'll just rewrite it down here. Equals 48. So we have 3 times 2 plus 6y equals 48. 3 times 2 is 6. Okay, any questions about any of the work that I just did? Okay, so I end up with y equals 7. We used the bottom equation to find y, so let's use the top equation to check. 5x minus 6y equals negative 32. So our x is 2, our y is 7. We end up with 10 minus 42 equals negative 32. Is that true? Is 10 minus 42 negative 32? Good. So negative 32 equals negative 32. And we are correct. Okay, does everyone have that copied down?
Did you write the check down?
I would write the check down. Go ahead and try the next slide. I'm going to pause this for a minute. Okay. Okay, let's just take a look at the solution to this. Let's see, I'll have you guys help me out with this. Courtney, when you add these together, what do you end up with? Good. Negative 7y equals 14. The 3 x's cancel out and they're gone. What do I do now, Courtney?
Divide by -7.
Good. And I get y equals negative 2. Good. Aiden, what do I do now?
Put y in the top.
Okay, we use the top equation, so I have negative 3x minus 3. Make sure you keep the negative 2 equals 9. So negative 3x. Can you fill in the rest of it for me? Good. Plus 6 equals 9. Now what do I do? And I get?
Negative 3x equals 3.
Okay, now? Good. And then we should check that. We'll use the second equation since we didn't use that yet. 3 times negative 1 minus 4 times negative 2 equals 5. We get negative 3 plus 8 equals 5, and that's true. 5 equals 5. So we know that we got that one right. Okay, so this is the very simplest kind of elimination systems to solve. The next easiest kind we're also going to do today. Objective 2, if you have two equations which have the same variable with the same coefficients, we can't just add them together, because if we look at this equation down here, if we add negative 2 and negative 2, we're going to get negative 4. Nothing's going to be eliminated. But what do you think we could do?
Multiply.
Multiply one of the equations by what?
What?
What would you multiply it by?
Itself.
1.
Negative 1. Good. If we multiply it by negative 1, that's going to make this 2y in one of the equations positive, and then we can eliminate it. And then we can add the equations together. So it really does not matter which one I decide to multiply by negative 1. I'm going to do the second one. So I'm going to take this whole equation, and I'm going to multiply it by negative 1. So that's going to change my equation, and I'm just going to rewrite my equation over here. I'm going to do 3x minus 2y equals 5. If I multiply everything in this equation times negative 1, Damien, what am I going to have?
Negative 4x plus 2 equals positive 6.
Plus 2y, good, equals positive 6. Now I can add them together, and these y's have opposite coefficients now, so they're going to eliminate. 3x minus 4x is negative x. So negative x equals 11. So what does positive x equal? Negative 11. And I could multiply both sides by negative 1 or divide by negative 1 to prove that that's true. X equals negative 11. Now I'm going to go back over to this first equation, and I'm going to substitute in to find out what y is. Minus 2y equals 5. I get negative 33 minus 2y equals 5. Adding 33 to both sides gives me negative 2y equals 38. Dividing both sides by negative 2 gives me y equals negative 19. Now I'm going to check that using the second equation. So check. 4 times x is negative 11, minus 2 times negative 19, equals negative 6. I end up with negative 44. Negative times negative is a positive. 38 equals negative 6, and negative 44 plus 38 is negative 6. So I know that I did that right. Any questions? Let's see, we have 2 more, so we'll do one more together, and then I'll give you one to do on your own. Give you just a second to finish copying. Okay, second one. Brittany, we have some variables with the same coefficient, so what are we going to do? Okay, which equation do you want to multiply by negative 1? Bottom, okay. So let's just rewrite the top just so that we can add them together easily. Brittany, what do we get when we multiply that bottom equation by negative 1?
Negative 3x plus 2y instead of 1.
Okay, good. Carson, add these together for me, please.
Negative 3y equals 9.
Okay, now what?
Divided by negative 3.
So y equals
Negative 3.
negative 3, good. Okay, now I know y, Adam, how am I going to find x? Okay, put it into the top. Okay. Okay, so the top we have, I'm just going to rewrite it here so we can see it. 3x minus 5y equals 10. Now be careful, a lot of times we solve for x. Make sure you actually put this in for y and not for x. So 3x minus 5 times negative 3 equals 10. Adam, can you finish this up for me? What do I get when I multiply negative 5 times negative 3? Positive 15. Okay, now what do I do? And I get 3x equals what? Negative 5. Now what do I do? Good. Divide by 3, and we end up with just a tiny little fraction. We have negative 5/3. That can't be reduced. So let's check to make sure this is right, fraction and all. Let's see, we use the top, so I'm going to use the bottom to check. 3 times negative 5/3 minus 2 times negative 3 equals 1. So even though we had a fraction here, this is kind of nice actually, because this is like 3 over 1. The 3's cancel out, so our fraction's gone already. This is a short fraction. We get negative 5 plus 6 equals 1, and that is true. 1 equals 1. Okay, let's do the next example. independently, and I'll come around and check. It does work out to have one little fraction in it as well. I'll just give you a heads up about that. I'll leave this up here in case you need to copy it. I'm going to pause this. Okay, so the answer for this one, let's see, do you want to multiply the top or the bottom by -1? Which one should we do? Bottom, okay. It doesn't matter which one you pick. Either one is fine. You can actually just go through, some of you did this, and change all your signs. You could do it like that if you want to, if you don't want to rewrite the equation. That works for these. Doesn't work so well when you're multiplying by another number. So I'm going to do that just to save a little time here. 4x minus 5x is negative x. 14 minus 12 is 2. If negative x equals 2, then positive x equals negative 2. Okay, substituting that into the first equation, this is where I end up with my fraction. I get negative 8 minus 6y equals 14. Adding 8 to both sides gives me negative 6y equals 22. Dividing by negative 6, I can actually reduce this, so I'm going to make that be negative 11/3. And I won't go through the checking on that right now, but you should always check these. Your assignment is, I'm going to give you another worksheet, and it's going to be one that's going to take us probably 3 days to do. I only want you to do 1 through 8 today. They just do what we did today as far as either just straight adding two equations together or multiplying one by -1 and then adding them together.